Hello and welcome to day 5 of the qualifiers. Today I'm up against One Life, and One Life is actually a really strong competitor. He is I think he's the only person to make it into like the top 10 global leaderboard without ever using over 100 nodes on his AIs, which is pretty impressive once you actually get around to making stuff because node bloat happens very quickly. But let's go ahead and see how we get off. You can see his bots are colored very similar to mine, so you really have to pay attention to the health bars. And both of us are going with the rushing mid strategy. His tried to make off with it, but I think it's going to take too much damage. And yeah, drop the resource. That's solid for me. Winning the mid brawl is good. You can see my problem bot back here has decided to shuffle resources around, and I think that might not be ideal. I might have to alter some things. But One Life is about to score 2 resources. I'm trying to carry some, but at this point, all of my real resource gain is going to have to come essentially through his team, which is not going to make this any easier for me. Now One Life is up 2-1. The assault was an easy score, completely unpressured, but One Life basically got 2 during that time frame, which is not great for me. But my machine gun has showed up to the field and is trying to pressure things, and collectors are fighting over resources. You can see One Life's resource collectors are not really all that interested in fighting, at least his shotgun isn't. It's far more interested in just grabbing the resource and running off with it, which isn't necessarily a bad strategy. It's a lot more reliable than actually trying to fight over the resources, because as long as the shotgun lives, it'll make steady progress. Meanwhile, you see my shotgun barely moving because it just keeps trying to fight. I might have to continue revising some things, but I've still got 3 minutes on the clock. That's plenty of time to come back, but this is a long distance to have to go through. It might actually have been a good idea to have my bots run back to this back capture point, at least with the shotgun. The assault, my shotgun AI is very weak, and so for a combatant it's kind of useless, but my assault AI is actually pretty decent. So if I had to choose between the assault and the shotgun to run laps around the field, I think I would choose the shotgun. Might have to experiment with that though. In the meantime, you can see the scuffle over these resources is ongoing, and after almost a minute, I'm finally moving the resources a good chunk, but with him getting his whole team to respawn and my problem bot already being fairly low, yeah, I didn't think I was actually going to capture one of those. I need to push him away from these resources so that I can capitalize on the local advantage. And his machine gun, you can see, it had to get below 100% health before it even thought about retreating, which is not a terrible idea. I mean, machine guns have as much health as other bots have health and shields combined, so retreating once you're at empty shields and below health isn't the worst problem. But I am maintaining bot superiority in the area, but I'm having a hard time moving these resources. Only a minute and a half left. I have moved the resources quite a bit, but I need to get them actually onto the capture point. You can see my shotgun dropped the resource to retreat. Might have been a better idea to just continue carrying the resources, but the shotgun is trying to move resources closer to the base, and the assault is trying to capture them, but the base is so close to One Life's spawn that I'm having a hard time with it, I think. I'm less than a minute left. I'm not entirely sure I'm gonna get another one of these resources. This has just been a scuffle on this side, and because it's on One Life's side, it only takes his machine gun a few seconds to get back into the fight, whereas my machine gun has to run all the way across the map, and you can see it just slowly lumbering its way back. And hopefully it can provide some cover fire. My sniper is pressuring his machine gun, and my machine gun is assisting. Yeah, you see his machine gun didn't retreat. I guess because it was firing, maybe that was why it wasn't retreating earlier. I did see similar behavior in another matchup I had the other day. But with 6 seconds on the clock and my bot's not carrying resources into the point very effectively, it looks like one life is going to take collection. Well played. So now we have domination. This is a 5-point map. 5-point maps generally work out pretty well with my AI. I don't know about this arrangement though. These are all really close together. I generally prefer them to be a little bit more spread out. But we'll see how they get off. You can see one life is rushing toward 3 different points at the same time, whereas I'm only moving toward 2 of them. But he didn't manage to get to this top base. So right now we're 1 base to 1 base. That's not inherently advantageous. He's got a 2nd base. I'm capturing my 2nd and 3rd. So I think that's a little bit favorable for me because my snipers are pretty safe sitting back at home. But oh yeah, there we go. I've captured the top base. That's very good for me. It's got my machine guns on it, so it's going to be very hard to dislodge. You see his machine gun trying to walk in, but 2 machine guns versus 1. It's pretty simple math. My snipers, though, are still sitting on this bottom base. They haven't gotten around to moving anywhere else, but that means that they've been fighting this entire time, just trying to keep the place clear. This is kind of a weird way the battle lines have been drawn too. If this were elimination, I would have basically written this off as a loss. You do not want to be sandwiched between the opposing team's forces like this. But with domination, I think it's probably fine. Mostly because losses don't really matter, and so people aren't nearly as careful. But I have built up a pretty solid score lead. I'm, 14 points ahead right now? Which is plenty, there's plenty of time to recover from that, but the fact that I've managed to build up that point lead in the first place is promising. He's contesting this middle one. He's actually neutralizing it right now. That's not great. But I did manage to clear it. It's restoring. That's good. That sniper died. That's fine. But this more or less has been a stalemate for a while in this formation. My sniper spawned in a spot where it just wanted to immediately start shooting. Because of course. Yeah, he almost managed to neutralize this middle base, but between the sniper and the machine gun, I managed to recapture it. So that's good for me. He's got a sniper on there, but if his shotgun couldn't do it, I don't think his sniper is going to be able to. Yeah, his sniper getting run off pretty quickly. But he's putting a lot of pressure on this top base. I think I'm going to be able to push the shotgun off of it. Yeah, it got down to 21%. That's close. He almost managed to neutralize several bases. I took the bottom right from him. He took the center from me. 1-to-1 trade. It's fine. His sniper, you can see here, is standing right next to a base. It would definitely have been advantageous for his sniper to take that base instead of just standing there shooting, and then it ran all the way up to this base instead. I think what he's probably expecting is for his shotguns to grab isolated bases, because this base is pretty far away from any of my spots, so he's probably expecting his shotguns to handle that. But with the way this map's spawns are laid out, it's very odd. But I am rolling hard on this midpoint. This shotgun here on the left it's pretty much dead. There's no way it's getting out of that. But it did manage to cap his base and take it away from him for a little while. And for a split second, I almost had the 5 cap. And with a minute left and a 34-point difference, I think I've got this match pretty much in the bag. I'm not sure how the match shakes out, but I don't think he can catch up at this point. Domination's always good for bot explosions though. If you ever want to just blow up a lot of bots, domination is the way to do it. Oh, look at that, I managed to sneak this base out from under him while he was trying to capture the other. Well done, shotguns. Earning your keep. Your combat's awful, but your tactics are pretty great. But there it is, and that's domination to me. So next up is the tiebreaker. And welcome to the elimination match, which serves as the tiebreaker. Right now, both of us have won one match, so whoever wins this is going to take the series. And again, one life is no slouch here either, but I've got machine guns, he's got assaults, which means he's going to get a little bit of early damage advantage in his favor, because you can see the assaults are having an easier time getting to the field in the first place. Another thing, you're going to see some tags popping up more or less at random, at least from an outside observer's standpoint. The tags are an experimental design that I was working on. I don't know that I'm fond of how they actually ended up playing out, but it might just be something I need to refine some more. But I did some testing after deploying this AI, and I wasn't really satisfied with the behavior related to the tags. But should give you a little something to try and figure out how do the tags work, what do they mean. But a minute in, you can see we're pretty much pushing back and forth. His sniper has taken a decent chunk of damage. His sniper on the left, you can see he kind of split his forces into two little like fire teams with a sniper and 3 assaults, whereas I've got my assault side and my heavy side. My assault side and the heavy side are both holding pretty well. I'm actually pushing, now that I look at it. I'm pretty gradually forcing him toward the corner, but I don't know if it's going to go fast enough. You can see his sniper does not want any part of what's going on. But the push is going pretty well. My assaults, you can see he's been bleeding health off of all of them. Not so sure. So a bot with 1 HP and a bot with 100% HP both deal the same amount of damage. So it's a really good idea if you can to try and secure kills on weakened bots, but I suppose my bots might be in good enough condition that none of his bots are going in for any sort of execution. If he's even looking for that sort of thing, I'm not sure. But the sniper on the left, you can see, is starting to get a lot weaker. It's sitting at a 3rd shield, or it was at a 3rd shield. It's sitting at a 3rd health, and he has no health packs near him. Whereas, as I push, ooh, there it is. I think I got a double sniper kill on his sniper, and that's really good for me. That's first off, it gives me the lead, but it also removes his sniper, which is the most effective long-range combatant, which definitely gives me a big leg up on overall potency. And if my heavy side was pushing when he had his sniper, my heavy side is definitely going to push now. And you can see I've got him getting pretty close to the wall. I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to get him into the corner before the time's up, but I don't really need to at this point, because I have the advantage. Oh, that's not great. This assault is really low on health. I'm not really a fan of that. But because I have the kill lead, I don't really need to secure any more kills. I only need, one more kill than the enemy has. Getting an 8-0 victory is great, and I'd love to all the time, but against a competent opponent, it's not always possible. So my bots are fairly cautious by design, and you can see them trying to do work. I'm actually really surprised that my assault side is pushing as hard as my heavy side. That might have to do with something with aim times, because the assaults have a much faster aim time. They fire in about a second after they start aiming at a target, whereas the machine guns have to aim for 2 seconds and the snipers have to aim for 3. So the assaults can actually get their second volley off before the sniper fires its first shot, Granted, the sniper's shot hits much harder than the assaults will at long range, but it's entirely possible that the reason my assault side is able to push like this is because of how fast they aim as opposed to necessarily their damage. Something I'll have to experiment with later. See how my AI holds up if I just 8 assaults instead of trying to split them up. But he's back up against the wall. There's only 13 seconds left, so I don't think I'm going to be able to secure any kills, but I think we can agree that if I had another 30 seconds or a minute or so, then I don't think he would have any bots left. But that said, that's 2-1 for the series. Good games, one life, and thank you for any viewers who are watching. Have a good one.